Hi, good morning. Hello and good morning. Am I audible? Hi, Vamsi. Hi, Shekhar. Morning. All good? How are things going on? Hi, ma'am. Udeshri. Hi, good morning. Morning. All going good? I am eagerly looking forward today to change your perceptions on economics. So, before we start with the class, please tell me how many of you are afraid of economics? How many of you don't like this subject, and how many of you are afraid of this subject? Okay. One, two. I have two, three, four. Okay. Please tell me, why do you feel economics is difficult? Why do you feel economics is difficult, and why are you fearful of economics? Bhavana, if you're from economics background, I'll be looking forward to take your feedback at the end of today's class. Kindly stay till the end of the session and please tell me your opinion on the class. Okay, one is terminology. Second thing, difficult to understand. No matter how many times you hear, it is new for you. You don't have basics from childhood. Right. So we will start with hi. So we will start with economics now. And before I tell you the class and before I start with the class, I have two announcements to make. First thing is that the entire medium of instruction shall be in English unless it is extremely complicated. There is no going back on this decision. We have given a lot of thought. We have deliberated on this for 5 to 6 days and we finally came to a conclusion that the medium of instruction shall be in English. This is the first thing. Second thing, we will start with microeconomics. Microeconomics is the foundation bed for the entire economics. It will take around 2.5 hours or at max 3 hours. Okay, at max 3 hours to handle the topic of microeconomics. My request for you is, please stay for the entire session, stay vigilant, and please be participative in the class. I will take up good number of examples. Don't worry, you will draw everything. Sit with one book, one pen and paper. I will give you a time of 2 to 3 minutes before we start. Please sit with pen and paper. Whenever graphs are necessary, I will make you draw. We will participate in the discussions. Talk to me in the class. Be participative, and we will make this journey very interesting. Before I start with the economics part, before I start with economics, let me. Bhai, one thing, please don't spam it. I'll be ruthless on this part. I have these bloody comments right in front of my face, and don't disturb. I did not complete history because modern history questions are not being asked. I know that I don't have to lose my cool, but please understand these things are right in front of my stupid face. సో నేనేదో మాట్లాడాలి అనుకుంటాను, నా ముఖం మీద ఉంటాయి అవి, దయచేసి స్పామ్ చేయకండి. సో బిఫోర్ వీ స్టార్ట్ విత్ మైక్రో ఎకనామిక్స్, లెట్ మీ టెల్ యూ, I can confidently say you will love the subject. All I want is, keep all your prejudices and pre learnings completely aside. Sit with an open mind and sit with an open book. Okay. So please take 2 minutes. Whoever doesn't have a pen and paper with you, please carry them. Sit whenever I want you to draw and whenever I want you to play with the graphs. Please play with them and give me the results. Right. Take 2 minutes. Get your pen, get your book. Rough book is enough. Don't write any notes. All these slides I've posted in the Telegram channel and the link is already pinned. Okay, the first part we are going to handle is microeconomics. If you understand microeconomics, you will clearly understand money and banking definitely. So in the first module, we will do microeconomics. Then I will take you to macroeconomics. But trust me, I am very confident. Those who learned economics till date, nobody would have taught you in this manner, right? So I'm so confident of it. Let us start with it. Take exactly 2 minutes, grab a rough book, grab a pen, and let us sit. It will take 2.5 hours. I'll not give any break. Once we are done with 2.5 to 3 hours or approximately, then we will take a lunch break of good, decently 3 hour lunch break, and we will meet again in the afternoon, right? So this is the plan. Please take 2 minutes. We will start. So if there are any other irrelevant questions that you would like to ask, please ask right now. Don't spam in the middle of a session. So I did not complete history, that is wrong. I completed ancient history. Since phase 13 exam started, there is zero question that was asked on modern history. Okay, just 1 minute here. We will start. Just a minute. I am just waiting for the other guys who wants to grab a rough book and a pen. So not even a single question was asked on modern history. So there is no point of me wasting your time teaching modern history. So I am waiting for the questions. If no question is asked, once all the important subjects are completed, then I will go to modern history. It's not that I'm skipping or I am fond of switching from one subject to the other subject on every single day. Right? So that's the thing. So having said all of this, shall we start? Are we ready, or is there anyone else who has gone to grab a book and pen? Shall we start? This is right from the basics, right? This is right from the basics. Okay. So in the first module of microeconomics, we will understand why we need a subject called economics. Why in the first place we need economics is the first thing. And what are the problems of microeconomics, or what are the problems of economics? What is an economy? As an individual, what do we do? How do we make a decision? For example, let us say we have two decisions to make. One decision is to attend a live class which is partially boring and partially dull. The second thing is to watch a web series, or let us say a movie on Netflix. There are two decisions to make. What kind of decision do we make? What are the rationale behind taking a decision? Let us say I am attending the class. I will lose the opportunity to attend the premiere movie of a superstar. So there is one opportunity cost, that is I am losing the opportunity to attend a premiere. Or let us say I decided to attend a premiere. Then I may not attend the live class, but still the content will be available on YouTube, but the opportunity of interacting and practicing in the class is missed. So on what basis does a human being makes a decision is all about economics. So now before I start, tell me, why do you think we need economics? What is the purpose of economics as a subject? Why do you think we need this subject? Please think and tell why we need this subject. Okay, to lead the life. It's very broad, I agree. Chetan is right. I really like your answer. Optimal use of resources. Very good. Money usage. Notes is already given. Money usage. Yes, to distribute limited resources. Efficient use of money and opportunity to be developed economy. To how much is spent. More or less, you're all going towards the same thing. That is to use anything efficiently, right? So the primary purpose of economics is to address three things in any economy. First thing is what to do. The first thing is what to do. Second thing is how to do. And the third thing is for whom to do. Let us say I want to do a class. I am teaching a class. So my first decision is, what class am I teaching? What topic am I teaching? Am I teaching modern history in which there are no questions that were asked in phase 13 exams? Or am I teaching a topic on which questions are being asked in the examination? So the first question that I am talking is what to do. Second question is how to do. How am I doing this? Am I doing this as a recorded class? Am I doing this as a live class? Am I doing this online? Am I doing this offline? If I want to, let us say for example, if I want to do a recorded class, then I will lose out the opportunity of engaging with you and how to talk to you. For example, or let us say I want to do an offline class, then I will lose an opportunity of reaching out to larger audience. So the first thing is, what am I doing? Second thing is, how am I doing? Third thing is, for whom am I doing? This is also extremely important. I will take the example of the very example of our decision. We had two choices to make. First choice is, do the class only for the bilingual students of those who are writing examinations of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. The other thing is, do the classes for everyone who is writing this examination in English, because the examination itself is conducted in English. So, for whom to do also matters. The whole purpose of economics is always to decide three things. One is what, two is how, three is for whom. The reason these things are important is only because, as our friend Chetan said, resources are always limited. You take anything, all resources are always limited. There is nothing like abundance. Whatever is abundant, that is available for free. Right? Whatever is abundant, it is available for free. Whatever is limited, it has to be allocated in a very optimal manner, in such a way that maximum utility can be obtained. For example, let us say I have one studio with one camera. I can use this camera either to take classes, or I can use this camera to take photographs. So the optimal allocation of camera is for taking a class and recording a class, because that is my strength and that is my skill. I don't have a skill to take photographs. So if I use this camera to use photographs, I cannot make a living. So the economics is all about allocating the limited resources for maximum efficiency, so that you can address the problem of what you are producing, how you are producing, and for whom we are producing. The whole topic that we are going to discuss for the next 2.5 hours will rotate around these three things. So this is a foundation bed for the meaning of economics, and in the first module we will discuss about the foundation. Then we will talk about the scarcity problem, utility of anything, and the foundational problems of economy. Then I will take you towards what is demand, what is supply, what are the types of demand, and then we will draw the demand and supply curves, and we will move these things. Then I will talk about the elasticities, and at the end we have to talk about circular flow, sectors of economy, types of goods and investments. I have prepared notes till topic number 5. The rest I will write on the slide as the class proceeds, and I will give you the written slides at the end of the class. So now, as I told you, economics as a subject deals about three things. First is, what are we doing, how are we doing, and for whom are we doing. And all these decisions, what to produce, how to produce, for whom to produce. Tell me, who can take this decision? Please tell me, who can take this decision? Who can take a decision on what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce? Individual. Okay, one answer is individual. Very good. Head of the organization, again individual. On yes, government, the other answer. So on what basis will the individual take this decision? Producing firm, yes, okay. On what basis will the state, is one very good answer. The other answer of entrepreneurs, yes, very good, demand. So in short, either market can decide. See, in short, either market can decide what are being produced, how are they being produced, and for whom it is being produced, or a government can decide these three things. So if the government is deciding the what, how, and for whom, such economy is called as a planned economy or a command economy. So in a command economy, all the basic decisions, the foundational and the fundamental decisions of the market is taken by the government. Whereas if the economy is a free market economy, if it is a free market economy, all these decisions are taken by the market itself. The decisions are taken based on the need for the product, need for the good, or demand for the good, if it is a free market economy. Now, please tell me, what is the disadvantage in this? If an economy is completely free market, if an economy is 100% free market economy, please tell me, what is the disadvantage of it? What is the disadvantage of it? No, not finance minister, no. Someone please tell me. Shortage of goods, that's one thing. Over demand, recession. Okay, I'll tell you. If okay, more or less everybody is partially correct. Let us take a market is deciding everything, and for the next 5 minutes, you are the market. Okay, you are the market. You are deciding everything. Okay, now you have certain choices to make. First choice is to produce cars, to produce bikes, to produce, let us say, iPhones. Second choice is to lay a road, to build a public hospital. You have options like this. If you are the market, what will you do? Option A or option B? What will you pick up? If you are the market, what will you pick up? If you are an entrepreneur, what will you do? A, right? So in a free market economy, if the market is deciding all the three questions of what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce, if it is completely profit oriented, then there may be a shortage of basic necessities, right? Whereas if the government is deciding everything, then there will be a shortage of innovation. If government will decide what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce, then there will be a lack of innovation, there will be lack of efficiency. Whereas if the market is deciding everything, then there will be a lack of welfare. The economy where government is deciding everything, you call it as a planned economy or a command economy. Whereas if the market is deciding everything, it is called as a free market economy. But ideally, in the world, there is no country which is either completely free market or a country which is completely command economy. All the economies try to play only in the middle, right? So this is a basic introduction to economics. Now we will start with the basics of economics. The foundational father of economics is Adam Smith. They might ask you about this person. The foundational person, the first, you can say the probably the first person who tried to make economics into a proper science is Adam Smith. Any subject, it becomes a science when you are taking decisions, when you are taking conclusions based on calculations. So Adam Smith is the first person who tried to give a proper decision to economics. And what Adam Smith says is, economics is all about the study of human behavior. How a human being how a human being behaves in a particular scenario. What kind of decisions are taken by a human being. This decision making, the study of this decision making is called as economics. This is the definition that is given by Adam Smith. They might ask you about Adam Smith in the examination. Now we will go ahead, and as I was talking, why do we need economics? Economics is needed because all the resources that we have are limited, nothing is abundant, and all our wants are infinite. There is one famous quotation, there is one famous statement given by a very famous personality. I will tell you the statement. Please tell me if you can identify the personality. The statement is Earth has Earth is sufficient for everyone's need, but not for everyone's greed. Can someone tell me who gave this statement? Gandhi? Yes. So, as Gandhi said, Earth can support everybody's needs but not greeds. Unfortunately, unfortunately, our wants are infinite, whereas resources are very finite. So, because of this, it will always lead to a conflict scenario. There will be a conflict where who gets the resources, whose wants can be fulfilled, right? So, this is the conflict. The conflict will always be between the resources and the wants. So, the objective of economics is to balance out the scarce resources and the infinite wants. So, this is the need for the subject, and economics as a subject can be categorized into two different classifications. First classification is based on the scale. The classification is based on the scale, that is whether we are talking about individual or we are talking about the government. If we are talking about an individual level, if we are talking about one single person, that economics is called as microeconomics. As the name says, micro is individual or micro is small. So microeconomics talks about the individual's decision making, and it is always individual centric. One person centric is the microeconomics, whereas at macroeconomics we study everything at a nation level. So for example, let us say there is a bottle. Whether this bottle is purchased by a person or not, it depends on if he has a need for the water bottle, if he has a water bottle or not, the price of the water bottle, the availability of the water bottle. So the decisions of the individual are studied in microeconomics, whereas whether a company is producing these water bottles or not, if a company is producing, how many bottles are being produced, in what color are being produced, what material is being used to produce this kind of study is called as macroeconomics. So at macroeconomics level we are looking at the entire country as a base, whereas in microeconomics level we are looking at individuals or individual firms. So this is the difference between micro and macroeconomics. Microeconomics is individual centric, whereas macroeconomics is nation centric. The second kind of economics is, there are two other classifications of economics. I'm not sure they will ask you in the examinations. They might ask you in tier 2 or they might not ask you, but please understand this for your knowledge. There is one more classification of economics, that is positive economics and normative economics. The word might look complicated, but the meaning is very simple. The meaning is very easy. For example, you see this statement: unemployment rate of India is 5%. This is a factual statement. This is a factual statement. National Family Health Survey says 20% of the children are stunted. This is a factual statement. So all kinds of, okay, I will reduce my size. Yes, definitely. I'll reduce it. Alright. This should work. Yeah, I have reduced. So unemployment rate is 5%. National Family Health Survey says 20% of children are stunted. These are all factual statements. So the economics that deals with the data, the economics that is based on facts, is called as positive economics, whereas the economics that gives suggestions, for example, unemployment rate is at 20%, so the government should increase the employment opportunities. First one is a data based fact, second one is a policy suggestion. All the data based facts are called as positive economics, and all these suggestions, all the policy prescriptions are a part of normative economics. So for example, there are 50 lakh students who are appearing for CGL examinations in English. This is a positive statement. Because there are so many students who are writing in English, we should start producing content and material in English. This is a normative statement. So facts is positive economics and the prescriptions are normative economics. The decisions are taken based on facts. So positive economics always drives normative economics. So these are the classifications of various types of economics. First is micro and macro. Second is positive and normative. In microeconomics, we are looking at the individual level, either it could be a one person or one firm. In macroeconomics, we are looking at the country as a whole, at a country level, right? So this is about the classifications of economics, and these are some examples. The first part or the first topic that we are going to talk for today, we will be starting with microeconomics. As I told you, in microeconomics, individual matters. There are two major agents within microeconomics. In the entire class that we are going to talk for the next 2.5 hours, our discussion will hover around these two agents. First agent is a producer, second agent is consumer. So the entire microeconomics talks about the behavior of producer and the behavior of consumer. Always, producer wants to maximize profits, consumer wants to maximize utility. So producer will always want to produce things at a lower cost, and he wants to sell it to larger audience, larger market. He wants to reduce the cost of production, he wants to maximize profits. Whereas a consumer always wants maximum benefits at the lesser price. So consumer is working on utility maximization, producer always wants to maximize profits. So the behavior of a consumer and a producer is studied in microeconomics. Till here, if you have any questions, please do ask. I'll have a sip of water and I will continue. If you have any questions, I'm looking at the chat section, please ask. I hope this is clear till now. No? Good. Right. Now we will start with microeconomics. So before going to microeconomics, I want to tell you still inka taginchala, you do want me to, so the producer is inversely proportional. Yeah, always a producer is inversely proportional to a consumer, but wherever you find an ethical ground, that firm will get profit. China is not completely a socialist economy. No, China is not completely socialist economy. Even in China, these complete socialism and communism failed. There is a difference between socialism and communism. This will be the first part, that first topic that we discuss in microeconomics. Yes, consumer and producer are always inversely proportional, and the point where they get balanced, if any firm is able to balance it out, that is any firm that is able to prioritize the satisfaction of a consumer along with its profits, that firm will always thrive. What kind of green screen are you talking about? I don't know what green screen are you talking about here. On this slide? Okay, leave it. Okay, let me continue. Again, I'll take up a part for the next 15 to 20 minutes, and I'll open the floor for questions. Whenever you have questions, please do ask. Okay, in between, whenever I'm discussing, kindly don't disturb the flow. Now, in microeconomics, I want to introduce you to certain words. First word is opportunity cost. Any decision for an individual, for a firm, for a government, there is always an opportunity cost. I will give you an example. Let us say I have 1 lakh rupees. I have two options. First option is to buy another camera for this studio, so that I can have a fixed studio to do some kind of podcast, and there is another camera that I can use for other things. The other 1 lakh rupees I can use for buying an iPhone. Now I have an iPhone which is iPhone 13. Don't, yeah. See, I have an iPhone which is iPhone 13. This is a very old iPhone. So now I can use 1 lakh rupees either to upgrade my iPhone to iPhone 16, but I know that for 1 lakh rupees I don't get an iPhone 16. So I can use this 1 lakh to upgrade my phone to 16 or to buy a productive studio camera that I can use it to do better kind of work. Let us say I am buying an iPhone. Then I am missing out an opportunity of buying another camera so that when one camera is busy, I can do something very productive. Or let us say I decided not to buy an iPhone and I went for a studio camera. Then I am losing out on the opportunity of having a satisfaction, having a feel of carrying an iPhone 16 on my hand, which I agree is a pseudo satisfaction. So, opportunity cost is the loss that you bear in making decisions. That is your opportunity cost. For example, there is one more opportunity cost. The practical live example that is going on today. One thing that you can do is follow the Twitter campaign, follow the campaign that is provoking people to come onto roads. The other thing is that admit that there is a problem, file a complaint, then come aside, focus on the work. There are two decisions to make. One decision, let us say we are being ethical, we are supporting the campaign, we are going on road and we are participating, right? The first one is right. Going on road and participating is okay on that day. But following the news till that day, that is one decision you made and you are following this. And in this scenario, you are losing out your time, you are wasting your time on the work. The second decision is do your work till 30th. On that day of 31st, being ethical, you go and participate in the protest, come back, then you close your doors for the news again. So if you are taking the second thing, you are losing your maza on following the first thing. If you are taking a first thing, you are losing your time on second thing. So every decision made by an individual, or for that matter a firm or a government, has always a cost. That cost is called as opportunity cost. Second word that I want to introduce is utility. Generally, utility is about usage. In economics terms, especially in microeconomics, we use the word utility with respect to satisfaction. Utility is synonymous to satisfaction. So I say that I am extremely satisfied by using a product when I am extremely satisfied. So utility here onwards will refer to satisfaction. That's the second thing. Now the entire problem of economics is all about scarcity. The one problem that we are talking is about scarcity. All resources are scarce. Because resources are scarce, we are forced to take choices. So if we are making a choice, whenever we are making a choice will lead to a cost. The cost is known as opportunity cost. Because there is scarcity, government has to, or somebody has to do rationing, somebody has to do price control. They have to decide what is being produced, how much is being produced. That is called as rationing. Because there is scarcity of a resource, right kind of allocation is needed. That is called as factors of production. Because there is a scarcity of resource, we need efficiency. So the entire problem of microeconomics is always around scarcity of resources. Because resources are scarce, we have to make choices. We have to take a choice. We have to make a decision, and we are losing out on something, and that is called as opportunity cost. So this is the example that I gave you till now. This is about the opportunity cost. Now, before going further into the topics of economics, we will talk about two kinds of goods. At this stage, I am introducing to terminologies. Before I take up the words such as demand, supply, etc., etc., at this point, I am laying a foundation bed and I am introducing you to different terminologies, and as a part of it, we spoke about opportunity cost and utility. Now we will talk about two different goods. One good is a free good, one good is economic good. Any good that is not scarce, for example, air, sunlight. In fact, pure air is scarce. Pure air is always scarce. Still, sunlight, air, all these resources, they are not scarce. There is no opportunity cost involved in it. Such goods are called as free goods. Whereas any good which is scarce, which has an opportunity cost involved, that is an economic good. So these are the differences, but the point is, whether a good is a free good or an economic good, it varies. One good, it could be free good in the past, it might become economic good in the present. The best example for this is air in Delhi. 20-25 years ago, air in Delhi is a free good. But today, air in Delhi is an economic good. You have to use an air purifier. You are using electricity. So that electricity is the opportunity cost. That electricity could have been used elsewhere. Unpolluted air or fresh air is scarce in Delhi. So air, which was a free good 25 years ago, 30 years ago, today is an economic good. So whether a good is a free good or an economic good changes based on the change in time. Can you give me any other example? I gave you one example of air. You give me one example of a good which used to be a free good, but today it is not a free good, it is an economic good. Think of it and give me any one example. I gave one more example here, don't give this. Land in ancient days versus modern days, I gave this example. Right? As Vamshi rightly says, it's water. Water used to be a free good, but today we have everybody uses a purifier. Everybody uses a purifier. So water is also an is a modern days economic good. Not solar energy. Solar energy is still a free good. Rare earth metals, yes, all these rare earth metals, coal, resources, these earlier days they were free good, but today they are all economic goods. Very good. Right? Now there are two other words that I want to tell you. First word is a free good. Second word is free of charge good. This is a previous year question. These basic words themselves are previous year questions. So please understand the difference between a free good and a free of charge good. As I told you, free good is a good that doesn't have any scarcity. It is extremely available and there is zero opportunity cost. Whereas free of charge good is a good for which you are not paying. You are using it, but you are not paying for it. Doesn't mean it is free. Someone else is paying for it. For example, the subsidy rice that we are getting from the ration shop. I am going to the ration shop. Yes, exactly. Subsidies. I am going to ration shop. I am getting the rice. It is a free of charge good for me. But it is not a free good. Taxpayer is paying for it. So all the subsidies for which there are opportunity costs involved, for which the charges are paid by someone else, they are called as free of charge goods. Now, apart from subsidies, can anyone tell me one example for free of charge goods? Please tell me one example for a free of charge goods other than subsidies. Subsidies is done. Anything else? Roads. Yes. Roads by someone who doesn't pay road tax. Very good. More or less all public goods. Yes. Public safety is not a free of charge good. No. Public safety is not a free of charge good. Government schools. Yes. All government schemes. Very good. Nice. So you got the idea between what is the difference between a free good and a free of charge good, right? Now tell me, you have forests, you have wildlife. Are they free goods or free of charge goods? You decide, are they free goods or free of charge goods? Okay. Okay, everyone is saying free goods. Tell me, are they scarce in modern days context? Are they scarce? Right, Divya, I agree with Divya. Are they scarce? So when there is scarcity, can it be a free good? When there is scarcity, can it be a free good? See, more or less today, they are all scarce, right? There is a lot of scarcity with respect to forest wildlife. So, they are all free of charge goods. So let us say there is an example and you have to pick up whether this is a free good or a free of charge good. You will decide this based on if it is scarce or not. If it is scarce, then definitely it is a free of charge good, but it is not a free good. Now we will talk about utility and marginal utility. As I told you, utility refers to satisfaction. Now marginal utility refers to extra satisfaction. For example, let us say I have one phone. Okay, one phone, I have this much amount of satisfaction. Let us take, I want to quantify this and I will call this as utils anukundam, a hypothetical number. I have one phone, I have 100 satisfaction. I got another phone. Now my satisfaction increased to 150. I got another phone. My satisfaction increased to 190. As my satisfaction is increasing as I am buying more and more phones. So the meaning of marginal utility is, when I have first phone, my utility is 100. When I am going for second phone, it is 150. The difference, the extra satisfaction that I am getting, this is called as marginal utility. Marginal utility refers to the extra satisfaction a person is obtaining as he starts increasing his consumption. It is not discount on discount, I'll tell you about it, don't worry. So the extra satisfaction is called as marginal utility. Now before I tell you anything, you tell me, let us take, you started eating sweets. Okay, it's been really long you ate sweets, or let us talk, we are from Hyderabad. I'll use biryani rather than sweets. It's been more than 2 years you ate biryani and you are a biryani lover. So let us say you ate one packet of biryani, or let's say one plate of biryani. You are extremely satisfied. With the second plate of biryani, what happens to your satisfaction? It's been really long. It's been 3-4 years you ate chicken biryani, or let us say chicken tangdi kebab. I'm fond of non-vegetarian and I'm a foodie. So I'll take example of tangdi kebab. Okay, tangdi or tandoori kebab. First leg piece I ate, I'm extremely satisfied. Second leg piece, what happens to my satisfaction? Extra satisfied. Third leg piece. Third leg piece. Third leg piece. Increased. After 4 you will feel saturated. After 4 you will feel saturated. If I draw this on a graph, I will draw 3-4 shapes, you tell me which is right. So you understood how our satisfaction works, right? So one is this. Second satisfaction is green color. Third satisfaction is yellow or is violet color. And fourth satisfaction is orange color. If I draw a graph, which color suits our satisfaction? Which color is right? Fourth color, orange. So if you want to plot a graph of total utility, the graph looks like this. This graph is total utility graph. Total utility increases for a while and then decreases. No, it's not green there. Total utility will increase and then decrease. This is about total utility. Now we will talk about marginal utility. As I am talking about marginal utility, let us go by the same example that we spoke, but we will write some numbers to understand. I am eating biryani. I am having utility. It's been 1 year I ate a biryani, or maybe 2 years I ate a biryani. So in the first biryani, I have 1000 satisfaction. In second biryani, I will give you 2 options to pick up. First option is Will I have 2200 amount of satisfaction or will I have 1500 satisfaction? Pick up any one number. Assume you as an individual. See, microeconomics is always about you and me. So if you are there, one biryani plate is done or one tangdi kebab is over. After second, we will go with 1500. We go with 1500. After third, will this be, let us say, 1800? Third is 1800. After 4, it goes to, let's say, 1900. It goes to 1900. Oh, sorry, it doesn't go to 1900. I'm sorry. 1500, or maybe you are at 1400, 1300, something like this. Now let us calculate, let us talk about marginal utility. In the first case, there is zero marginal utility because earlier you did not eat biryani. In the first case, what is marginal utility? In the first case, it is 500. Okay, in second case, it's 100. So marginal utility will continuously decrease. Right? You agree with me? Marginal utility decreases constantly. Now again, let us draw the line. You will decide what line is right. I want to draw a line for marginal utility. I am using colors again. First is red color. Second is black color. Third is yellow color. Which line is right for marginal utility? Which line is correct for marginal utility? Yellow. So if I have to put these lines on a simple graph, will it look like this? Yes, do you agree with this? Take 1 minute. Don't see the screen. Draw the graph in your notes by yourself. Draw the graph. Think of the logic and draw the graph. Then I'll go ahead. This is the first graph that we did today. Draw the graph in your book. Imagine the same example. Think of the same example. And you draw the graph in your notes. Rough book. Right? So this, the process where marginal utility continuously decreases. This law is called as law of diminishing marginal utility. In the entire economics, any kind of product or for that matter, any kind of thing, the utility constantly decreases. This law is called as law of marginal utility. This is one example that we tried to write. So utility initially increases and then decreases, but marginal utility will constantly decrease. So this is the first thing. In utility, there are three types. One is total utility or total satisfaction. Marginal utility is the extra satisfaction. Average is total upon number of units. So there is nothing much in this. Now we will talk about, as I was telling about the types of economy, now we will talk in detail about what kind of economy. What kind of economy and all. Now we will start talking about this. As I was telling you, the entire economy deals with three problems: what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. The decision on who or what for whom, if this decision is taken by a government, this is called as command economy. If this decision is taken by the market, this is called as market economy. So in a market economy, always it is a market that determines. There is, as I told you, the one famous guy who told about this is Adam Smith. What Adam Smith says is, let us take an example scenario again. Demand I used in terms of X. When there is X amount of demand for a good, the price is 50 rupees. Let's say there is this much of demand, the price is 50. Demand increased, demand doubled, price became 100. Now demand went on to 5 times, price became 1000. After this point, do you think the demand will still continue to increase? There was some point of time, there was a demand. This is a quantum of demand. Price is at 50 rupees. Okay, demand, let us give in numbers. There is one demand, price is 50. Two demand, price is 100. 5 demand, the price went to 5000. After this, the demand is bound to reduce. So as demand reduces, price will reduce again. So who is correcting all of this? Who is correcting the price and demand? Who is correcting the balance? Who is correcting this? There is a correction that happened here, right? As the demand changed, the price changed. There is a correction that happened. Supply correction was done. Who did the correction? Market, right? Market did the correction. So Adam Smith says that in a free market economy, there is an invisible hand. There is an invisible hand. That invisible hand will correct the necessity or whatever corrections are needed. Invisible hand will do. And according to Adam Smith, in a free market economy, invisible hand will do the necessary corrections for the market. Right? So this is about the invisible hand and this is about the free market economy. Whereas a planned or a command economy, government will decide how much you are producing, what you are producing, whether you are importing anything or not. If you are importing anything, what is the quantity that you are importing, where you are allocating your resource. Every decision is made by a government itself. And India decided to follow command based economy till 1991. Now do you understand why we needed 5-year plans? Please tell me, what is the objective of 5-year plans now? Everybody knows that 5-year plans are important. 5-year plans are important. First 5-year plan, second 5-year plan, etc. So tell me, what is the need for the 5-year plan? Why government of India issued 5-year plans in the first place? It's not sustainable development. No, India did not go for sustainable development at all. Back in 1947, there was no sustainable development. Welfare, development in various sectors to estimate expenditure and savings, economic crisis. India went for 5-year plans because India decided to be a command economy. So in a command economy, government has to take every decision. So 5-year plan was basically that document which will say what country will produce, where government will invest, that will guide what is produced in the country, what kind of companies will be encouraged, what kind of companies will be discouraged. In these 5 years, which sector we are pushing. So this kind of mechanism where in this command economy, government wanted to take every decision, and for that purpose, we brought in the concept of 5-year plans. In this country, government stay for 5 years. So we went for 5-year plans so that government will clearly say, it will clearly chart out the entire path of the economy. So is this clear why we went for 5-year plans, or what is the foundation of 5-year plans? Yes. So these topics are open for debates. If you want to disagree, you are open to disagree and we can definitely discuss. So in modern days world, no country is completely planned. No country is a free market economy. All the countries find a middle ground. For example, there are certain countries which are which are more lenient towards planned economy. Such countries are, for example, Russia, China, Venezuela, etc. Those countries are called as socialist or communist countries. There are certain countries which are more of free market oriented. They are called as capitalist countries. For example, the latest bill of United States of America, the big beautiful bill, or the earlier bill, that is Obamacare bill, all these are supposed to be the planned economy policies. But those policies are available even in the countries like United States of America. So no country in the world is completely socialist. No country in the world is completely capitalist or completely free market. So US, Japan, etc. are more lenient or more towards free market. India is a country that finds a middle ground. Earlier, India used to be somewhere over here, it started here, but today our journey is coming till here. So tell me, is India ready to travel towards a completely free market? According to you, based on what I spoke till now, I told you the problems with a free market economy. I told you what is a planned economy. Please tell me, is India ready to jump to this point? If you say yes, please tell me why. If you say no, please tell me why. Okay, yes and no are fine, but I want you to tell me why. Why do you think of it? Why do you say so? Think and answer. I want you guys to be participatory here. Economics is a subject where we can discuss, debate, deliberate, and agree to disagree. Cuba is also not completely socialist economy. No country in this world is completely socialist. See, there should be no concept of private property. But in Cuba, there is a concept of private property. In Cuba, there is a concept of private property. Yes, good answer. India is inclined towards capitalist, but poverty is still an issue. That is one agreeable thing. Is there anyone else who would like to participate and say what is the hindrance why we should not be completely free market today? No, there will be growth. There will be growth. See, if we are going for a free market economy, there will be growth in GDP. We will become a $3 trillion economy faster. We will become a faster $3 trillion economy. That's not a problem. Chetan is partially at the right stage. I am looking for the right terminology. That's it. Chetan is right. See, India is not there at a point where we can be a completely free market economy. Just a second. Right. India, yes. India is a country where we have two Indias. One is rich, elite India who has access to everything. So if we are going towards a free market economy, rich will be rich, poor will be poor. Whereas the second India, where they still don't have accessibility, that India will remain backward. So India as a country, India is not yet ready to make a switch towards completely capitalist. India is a country that needs government, that needs welfare policies, because the right word is there is social stratification within this country. This country is stratified. This is a layered country. We have one India who has access to artificial intelligence, who has access to all kinds of technology, and who has access to international standard education. Whereas we have the other India where kids are suffering to go to a school. Government schools have dilapidated buildings. Government schools don't have right infrastructure. And we have one India where there are digital boards in the schools. So if India comes to a completely free market economy, then the second India will remain a second India and the gap will continuously increase. Now, do you understand why indices are asked in your exams? Indices such as gender equality index, indices such as world poverty index, or for example, India's poverty index. Indices are asked in the examinations. Do you understand why indices are important? Next time when you're studying indices, look at them at this perspective. Right? Now we will start talking about factors of production. So as I was talking about microeconomics, till now we understood that how a person gets satisfied, how a person gets satisfied, indices or indicators, yeah, how a person gets satisfied, how a person takes a production decision. Now we will look at what are the factors that influence a production. So before I tell you what are the factors that influence a production, in your own words, please tell me what are the factors that influence a production. What factors influence or what factors determine production? Demand. Yeah, land, labor, capital, organization, resources. Demand is one factor. Raw material, very good. Sources, need and availability, nice. Time, workforce, workforce or labor, right? So everybody, whatever you told, everything is right. You have workforce, which is a constraint. You have resources, which is a constraint. We have money is a constraint. Skill is also a constraint. If there is no right entrepreneur who can take the right risk at the right time, then you don't have production. So if we codify all of this into a proper manner in academic terms, there are four factors of production: land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. All the resources come under land, all the human workforce come under labor, money is capital, skill, the risk taking is entrepreneurship. So, because of these factors of production, as land is used, land gets rent, a labor for his human capital gets wage, for money or monetary capital you get interest, and for entrepreneurship you get profit. So examples, land includes all those. This can be your question. Which of the following factors of production are a part of land? In land, minerals, oil, undersea resources, forests, everything is counted in land. They will ask you in examination. Okay. Then everybody knows about what is labor, what is capital, and what is entrepreneurship. Now tell me, of all these four factors of production, which is most important? Is there anything that is most important of these four in an economy point of view, not in an examination point of view? In economy point of view, is there any one factor of production that is very important? Land. So if you are picking up one, please tell me why. Along with what, you have to give me why also. Okay, everybody is going with land. Okay. Yes, I was looking for this. Viju is absolutely right. Sai Viju, you are absolutely right. All the four are extremely important. Any single thing can determine the entire production. Any single thing can determine the entire production. All four are interdependent on each other. Even if there is land, if there is no entrepreneurship, there is no production. There is land, there is an entrepreneur, there is no workforce, there is no production. There is land, there is workforce, there is no entrepreneur, there is no production. Without one, the other does not work. Right? So now we will look at certain terminologies again that are important for our exam. This is a table that is there in NCRT, so I've picked this table as it is. In capital, there are certain words that are important for terminologies. First is physical capital. Anything that you can touch. Anything that you can touch, it is called as physical capital. Any skill is human capital. All natural resources are natural capital. Money is financial capital, whereas connections, friendships, ability to get the work done, this is called as social capital. So this is the types of capital. They might ask you what is what kind of capital, and based on the name you can definitely tell the types of capitals. Now we will talk about a line or something called as production possibility. Before I discuss or before I dwell into the topic, you are a firm or you are a company. You are producing, let us say you are producing iPhones again. Tell me, what are the factors that will determine your production? What factors will determine the production? As a company, what factors will determine your production? I'll list out. Please tell me. You are an iPhone manufacturer. You are an iPhone manufacturer. What factors will determine your production? Okay, number one is raw material. Raw material is demand for iPhones. Very good. Demand for iPhones. Availability of capital or investment. Marketing. Yes, marketing will determine the profits. Profits will determine skill. Very good. This, let us keep this for 1 minute. Let us keep this aside. Now, there are two things that you can produce. You are a company. You are a car manufacturer company. You are a car manufacturer company. You have two choices. Choice number one, you can produce a hatchback. You can produce a hatchback. You can produce a sedan. You can produce a sedan. On what basis will you decide how many are you producing? Let us say you have a situation. I'll give you scenario. Your scenario goes like this. You can produce in your unit at max, you can produce 200 cars. If you are producing hatchbacks, you can produce 200. If you are producing sedans also, you can produce 200, but beyond this you can't produce. Now you have to take a decision. How many hatchbacks are you producing? How many sedans are you producing? How will you decide? How will you decide? On what basis will you decide? Please tell me. Yes, number one, market trend. Mostly it is market trend, but are there any other decisions? Just demand? Only demand? Sales and market trend is okay. Are there anything else? Let us just, for example, think a bit better. If you are into cars, you can answer this better. Yes, availability of roads is a very good answer. The kind of roads is very good answer. What kind of roads are you serving? Whether you are serving in a country where there are speed breakers which are larger than the humps of oxes, or no, not based on mileage. You will not produce based on mileage. No. Roads, profits, market trends, and government policies. Based on all these things, you can produce. Now, in a company, if you are producing hatchbacks, as I told you, you are producing hatchbacks, you are also producing sedans, and on the whole, you can produce 200. Let's say you are producing all 200 hatchbacks, you can do 0. If you are producing 150 hatchbacks, you can produce 50 sedans. 100, 100, 50, 150, or 0, 200, right? So, these are the production possibilities. Now, let us put these numbers in a graph. Let us put these numbers in a graph. 0, 200, 50, 150, 100, 100, 50, 150, 200, 100. So 200, 0. Okay, let us put this on a graph. What kind of graph can I take? I am going by, let us say, can I go by this line? Can I go by this line? This line will say the numbers of production. If I am going by 100, this is 50, 100, 50, 50, 100, 200. This is telling me the quantity that I can produce. Right? This quantity can be influenced by various factors. Now what I am doing is, I am considering that I am fixing all factors. For example, I am fixing the time, I am fixing the technology, I am fixing the efficiency, I am fixing the resource utilization. If I am fixing every single thing, and I want to show the maximum amount of production that I can do by using various kinds of resources. If I can do maximum amount of production and I can show this in a graph, the line looks like this. This is my maximum production. This is a maximum production that I can do, provided all other things are fixed. If I am producing maximum number of hatchbacks, I am producing 0 sedans. If I am producing 0 sedans, I am producing maximum number of hatchbacks. Right? I am going by a middle ground. Now tell me, what is the difference between this line and this line? I drew two lines. You are agreeing with both the lines. Please tell me, what is the difference between this line A and line B? Try to tell me what is the difference between line A and line B. Line A is also talking about hatchbacks and sedans. Line B is also talking about hatchbacks and sedans. What is the difference between line A and line B? In your words. No, not numbers. Not like decreasing. Yes, maximum production. This is about the maximum amount of production that you can do. So, the graph or the line on which you are plotting the maximum amount of production possibility, this line is called as production possibility curve. In any economy, the maximum amount of production that you can do, if you can put it on a graph, this line is called as production possibility curve. The optimum, the maximum, the potential amount of production that you can do, whatever you can do, this line is called as production possibility curve. Now I will draw a line and I'll tell you, I'll draw a line and I'll ask you some questions. Please tell me. Okay, just a second, I'll change the pen. This is a country's production possibility curve. Okay, this is a country's production possibility curve. This is possibility. The violet line is current state of production. Tell me, is this country, option A, underperforming? Option B, optimum? Option C, overperforming? What is right? Yeah, I'll repeat it in a brief. Don't worry. Please answer this question, you'll understand. I'll repeat it in a brief. Black line, as I told you, black line is the production possibility. A country can produce this much. Now, if a country is at the yellow line, underperforming. If a country is at red line, is it overperforming? So let me summarize once for those who did not understand. I'll just summarize in a very simple format. In a graph, if I plot the maximum amount of production that I can produce, in a graph, if I am plotting the maximum amount of production that I can do, given all my constraints, this line is called as production possibility curve. Now, what I asked you is, I am taking an example where this is a violet line. Violet is my current state of production. and I want to go to red. Okay, I want to go to red. Violet is my current stage. What should I do? What do you think should I do? As a company, violet is my product. Violet is my current stage. Red is my maximum. What should I do to go from violet to red? అయ్యో రవి, అది రియాలిటీ. So please tell me, if I want to go from violet to red, what should I do? ఓకే, వైలెట్ ఈస్ బెటర్ ప్లానింగ్. లేదు సార్, పాపం బ్యాంక్ ఎంప్లాయీల పరిస్థితి కూడా దారుణంగా ఉంది, అది మీరు అర్థం చేసుకోండి. బ్యాంక్ ఎంప్లాయీస్ కుక్క చాకరీ చేస్తున్నారు బ్యాంకులలో. నమ్మండి, నిజంగా కుక్క చాకరీ చేస్తున్నారు. ఓకే, ఐ విల్ గివ్ యూ two more scenarios. You are giving me different answers. See, on x-axis is one product, on y-axis is different product. I'll draw 3 lines and I'll tell. I'll draw 3 colors, then I think I'll get better answers. You are a company. Green is your maximum amount of production possibility. Okay, at green is your production at the current standards, current technology, current capital, current resources. Green is your standard. But you are at yellow, or let us say you are at violet, and red is like way above. Numbers laga maatladukunte, if you want to talk about numbers, let us say this is 10, 50 is your current possibility, 100 is the maximum, or 100 is your beyond point. Tell me what you need to do to go from 10 to 50. To go from violet to green, what should you do? Okay, I'll give you 2 options. One, increase efficiency. Option B, increase the capital. I am calling violet to green as journey 1 and this as journey 2. Tell me, in which journey, which option will you choose? You are the owner of a company. In which option will you choose which journey? Journey 1, option A na, B na? No, you have to match properly. Journey 1, what are you doing? No, not both. Not both. No, not both. Only one. Yes, maximum usage of resource. So, if as a company or as an individual, you are operating below your maximum potential. If you are operating below your maximum potential, you need to increase your efficiency. You need to improve your resource allocation. You need to improve your resource allocation. You need to improve your efficiency. If you want to push your maximum possible production, there you have to increase your capital, you have to increase your quantity, you have to bring in new technologies. So did you understand what is a production possibility curve? Did you understand what is a production possibility curve? Yes. So production possibility curve tells that resources are always scarce. You need some trade-offs. So you have to decide what to produce. Right? So my question is very simple. On the production possibility curve, right? As long as you are working on the production possibility line, Can you increase the production of one product without reducing the production of the other? See, we are talking about assuming that the demand is there. So tell me, as long as you are operating on this line, as long as you are operating on this line, can you increase the production of one person, one thing without reducing the other? No. So production possibility curve is like a limitation. Is like a limitation, right? Now I have one question for you. Let me draw the graph and tell and use two different colors again. Red, green. There are two colors. Don't look at blue color, which is a mix. Don't look at blue color. Now you have two options. Assuming that this is about a country. For a moment, forget that this belongs to a company. This is a country. One option is GDP. Option B is potential GDP. Which color refers to GDP? Which color refers to potential GDP? Which color refers to GDP? Which color refers to potential GDP? Absolutely. Red is potential GDP. No, no, green is not potential GDP. No. Red is potential GDP. Green is GDP. So you understood what is the difference between GDP and potential GDP? GDP is the maximum amount of production that is happening in this country. Potential GDP is given the current scenario, what is the maximum that we can produce, that is called as potential GDP, right? Okay, now we will go back and come again. There we will come back to the graph again. So as I was telling you, if this is your potential GDP line, you are underperforming if you are moving inside, you are overperforming if you are moving outside, right? So production possibility curve can shift outside, right? It can shift outside. As I am going with the example again, red is the potential point. Red is the potential point. If I want to go from red towards green, if I want to go from red to green, in this case, I have to increase quality. I have to increase my capital. Whereas in this period, in this part, I have to increase efficiency, right? So now with respect to India, I will draw one line. I want you to think and tell me what and why. I want you to think and tell me what and why I am drawing a line. I am drawing the production possibility curves. Please think and tell me. What I am saying is, this is India. This is India's, let us say this is India's production possibility curve somewhere in the years of 1990. And this is today. This is 2025. On x axis, I am talking about agriculture. On y axis, I am talking about manufacturing. Can someone tell me? Can someone tell me why India's graph is like this? I am telling that this is India's graph. India ila change ayindi. India's graph changed like this. This was old graph, old line, whereas this is old line. Why do you think India changed in this manner? Okay. One, India is not into manufacturing sector. Why is India not into manufacturing sector? Okay. What is the biggest advantage of India? What is the biggest advantage to India? Population? Population? Youth or population? So, if you want to push your production possibilities in any country, if you want to push your production possibilities, you have to increase the land, which you cannot do. Land is fixed. So, you have to increase labor. The labor participation in agriculture was very high, whereas the labor participation in manufacturing was very low. So, India India's growth was very skewed. Understood? Why is India still dependent upon agriculture? So now, does it make sense when government of India says, or when in your exams, questions on Make in India are asked? Do you understand why Make in India is important today? If we want to push our boundaries in a uniform manner, that is, red is the old line. Sorry, I'm using wrong ones here. Red is the old line. Pink is the current line. And if we want to become a $3 trillion economy, we have to be at green. Right? See, economics is about understanding what is going on around. There is a reason why I am discussing all of this. They may not ask you all these things in detail. This is for your understanding. All they will ask you in exams is production possibility curve. I can tell you the maximum amount of production that can be done based on the fixed amount of resources that are there in an economy. That line is called as production possibility curve. But I want you to understand the current happenings on graphs, right? So this is about India and India's productions. So when you are in this journey, when you are in a journey within inside, as long as you are inside, you will increase your production efficiency. If you want to travel outside, you have to increase your science. You have to increase your research and development. You have to increase the partnerships. You have to widen the market. You have to increase the quantity of production. When this happens, then you can work on it. Now, I want you to think and tell me some examples. Examples as I'm drawing 3 lines, again the same old 3 lines. Red is the potential GDP. Green is where we want to go. We are at pink. Now, from pink to red, tell me some government schemes or policies that you think will take us from 1 to 2. Tell me some government initiatives that will take us from 1 to 2. Tell me some initiatives that take us from 1 to 2. 5-year plans. Very good. 5-year plans. Atmanirbhar Bharat. Yes, 5-year plans. Atmanirbhar Bharat. Very good. Planned economies. Skill India. Padhe Bharat. Badhe Bharat. Swanidhi. So those who are going for exams, please write this list. MGNREGS. Do you agree? Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme. Mudra loans. Very good. Mudra loans. MSMEs. Mudra loans. Integrated Child Development Schemes. No, Gati Shakti, I'll come later. NABARD, very good. Right. This is for violet to red. Tell me some schemes that can take us from red to green. We are at red. We want to go to green. Tell me some schemes. Yeah, whatever. RRB, SIDBI, NABARD, Make in India, Mudra Loans, Viksit Bharat, Swanidhi, ICDS, MGNREGS, all these will take us from violet to red. But I want you to tell me something that can take me from red to green. Make in India is mixed. Inకేమైనా స్పెసిఫిక్ గా చెప్పగలరా? Can you give me any specific things? For example, Atal Innovation Mission. Atal Innovation Mission. Yes. Science and Technology. ISRO. Space programs. Nuclear Energy Mission. Very good. Renewable Energy Mission. Nuclear Energy Mission. Free trade agreements that we are doing with a country. Attracting, very good, attracting foreign investments. So day before yesterday, I think I saw one pundit talking on YouTube, questioning that when there are so many problems that are being faced by people around, what is the Prime Minister doing in London? What is the Prime Minister doing in UK? So my answer for that is, if the country has to travel from red to green, we have to sign free trade agreements. Yes, advanced science and technology, solar missions. So now you understand how budget decisions are made, right? Any country which is investing more in R&D, which is investing more in technology, that is going for a travel from white to Z or red to green. Whereas if we are investing on government jobs, GST, Kaushal Vikas Yojana, Skill India, all these things, Gati Shakti, Bharatmala project, all these things will take us till red. So this is about GDP and potential GDP. GDP is the current state of production. Potential GDP is the maximum amount of production that you can do. Maximum possible production that can happen within a country, within the boundaries, is called as potential GDP. So do you have any questions till here? Do you have any questions that you want to ask? Any kind of questions? Doubts hai kadu? I think someone was asking, when will you teach something. I saw a message, but I ignored. So yeah, this is 1 minute refreshment break. Do you have any questions that you want to ask? Poverty, taxation, money and banking, monetary policy. See, once microeconomics is completed, then I will come there. Whatever you are asking is a part of macroeconomics. Monetary policy is different, and fiscal policy is different. In monetary policy, I'll talk about this what? Yes, LPG is a systemic reform. Yes, LPG, liberalization, privatization, globalization is a systemic reform. So yes, I am teaching the foundations and I'm helping you to understand the concepts of microeconomics by linking to macroeconomics. Overproduction is definitely detrimental. It is absolutely detrimental, because if you are overproducing, you are exhausting the resources. You are forgetting the concept of sustainability. So when you are forgetting the concept of sustainability, then overproduction is definitely bad. Nikhila, can you specify your question as in to which exam are you talking about? Are you asking about SSC exams, or are you talking about economy in general? What are you talking about? I'll answer Nikhila's question and we'll proceed ahead. That this is just a relaxation for me for 1 minute. So what in general, I have a collection of books for economy. Okay, it's not that I read a particular one. I have a collection of books for economy. First is, I have collection of economic surveys from 2015 2016. So this is the first economic survey that I ever studied. This is the first book that I ever read. This book is called as This is Economic Survey, and this is a very good book, beautiful book. As I was talking about positive economics and normative economics, there are two volumes of economic surveys. Second volume gives you data or facts. This is called as positive economics, and the first book gives you policy prescriptions. This is normative economics. So this is one book that I read every year, and I have collection of economic surveys. And then I have two very good books. One book is a book of Uma Kapila on Indian economy. This is a very theoretical book. Then there is one more book which is more precise in nature, that is Indian economy of Vivek Singh. This is more of exam oriented. So this is my collection of economics along with NCRTs. Nifty and all, they won't ask you in exams, don't worry. Right. So we will resume. I have one more question for you. Tell me, according to you, what is the difference? I'll answer your question in the next break, Prasanna. According to you, you tell me what is the difference between growth and development? Please tell me the difference between growth and development. What is growth? What is development? Yes, growth is quantity, development is quality. The study of development in economics is called as welfare economics. Right? In 2024, the Nobel Prize for Economics was given in welfare economics. These are the three persons, Darren, Simon, and James. These three people got Nobel Prize in welfare economics because they were able to prove that right kind of institutions will lead to the prosperity of a country. So this can be one question: who got economics Nobel Prize in 2024? Darren, Simon, and James got Nobel Prize in 2024 for welfare economics. Just because I was talking about development, I spoke of it, and we saw what is GDP and what is potential GDP. Now we will start talking about the last concept, last and most important. This is not the last concept. In fact, this is the most important concept. We will start talking about is law of demand. Okay, law of demand. We will talk about law of demand with the help of examples. There is demand, there is price. When demand is X, price is 10. Demand is 2X. What happens to the price? 20, 3X, 30, 4X, 40. So, as demand increases, price increases. So before we go to law of demand further, let us understand what is a demand. Demand is simple. It is nothing but whatever people are willing to purchase and they are able to purchase at a given price. At a particular price, there are two things that are important. One is willingness is important. Ability is also important. For example, we have a Lamborghini, or let us say we have BMW M1000RR. I am willing to buy M1000RR. I am willing to buy, but I don't have the ability to buy. Can you call this as a demand? Cherry, that's the last sentence. We have a lot to talk before we go there. Demand and supply are inversely proportional. This is the last sentence that we are talking. Don't talk about supply at this point. We have a lot to talk. So there should be willingness and there should be ability. When both are present, then you call it as demand for a good. Now, demand depends on. Tell me what are the factors that will decide the demand? According to you, what will decide the demand? What determines the demand? Consumers, price, need, purchasing power, very good. Ability to purchase, need. So demand depends upon various factors, right? What law of demand says is that when all the other factors are constant, That is, need is constant, ability is constant, nothing is changing. Need is fixed, ability is fixed, availability is fixed, everything is fixed. In such cases, when everything is fixed, then quantity demanded is inversely proportional to the price. Quantity demanded is inversely proportional to the price. If price decrease, what happens to the demand? As price is decreasing, what happens to demand? Increases. If prices decrease, demand will increase. If price increases, demand will decrease. Agreed? So, what law of demand says is very, very simple. Law of demand says that quantity demanded is always inversely proportional to price. If I have to put this on a line, when prices are high, demand is low. When prices are low, demand is high. So the line is like this. In your rough book, take 30 seconds and draw the law of demand, or draw the demand curve. Don't draw simply like this. Draw a line, draw the x-axis, draw the y-axis. This is your quantity demanded and this is your price. Price is, let us say, at 500 rupees. Then quantity demanded is 10. Price is 10, quantity is 500. Right? This is your demand curve. Analyze the demand line and draw the demand curve. Take 1 minute and draw it in your rough book. Once you draw, you will understand. You will never forget it. So is this a down slope line or up slope line? Is this a down slope line or an up slope line? I'm not aware of it at this moment, dear. What I was told is that in phase examinations, there are so many questions that they're asking you. Yes, exactly. When cost price is decreased, we can buy more for the same cost price. So demand curve is a downward slope line. So I hope you will never forget what is a demand curve again ever in your future. Now there are various factors that decide about the demand. As I was telling, price of a good, income levels, price of other goods, expected future price, market price, all these. When all these are constant, then no, it is not. It is definitely not. See, you have to look from price point of view. If price is decreasing, demand will increase. In these topics, we are looking from price point of view. Okay. In price point of view, if price is decreasing, demand will increase. As price decreases, demand increases. As price increases, demand will decrease. Yes, it is inversely proportional. It is downslope when all the other factors are constant. Right? Now for a moment, let us think. Let us start talking about certain examples. This is my demand curve. Please understand, I'll give you different examples. You will decide whether demand will increase or decrease. Okay. Now I will tell you certain scenarios. You have to decide whether demand is increasing or decreasing. If the demand is increasing, we call this line goes like this, and this is called as outward shift. This is called as outward shift. Okay, please remember this word. If demand is increasing, you call this as outward shift. If the demand is decreasing, you call this as inward shift. Inward shift. Understood? If the demand is increasing, it is called as outward shift. If the demand is decreasing, it is called as inward shift. Now, I will tell you certain scenarios and you have to tell me what kind of shift happens. This is a demand curve, and in the economy, income increased. Income levels of people increased. What happens to the demand curve? What happens to the demand curve? Inward shift or outward shift? People income levels have increased. What happens? Absolutely outward shift. Yes. Now let us look at this. Let us look at this very graph. This is the quantity demanded. This is the price line. Now there is an outward shift. In the original scenario, originally this is the quantity demanded and this is the price point. This is original. Now because of the increase in incomes, as the income in this economy is increasing, demand curve shifted outwards. So what happens to price? What happens to price? Price point, what is happening to the price point? What happens to the price point? Increase. So if income is increasing, demand in the economy increases, which results to increase in prices. This scenario is called inflation. This scenario is called as inflation. Will you agree this is inflation scenario? So you understood what is inflation now? What is inflation? It is a scenario where people have more money to buy, so demand will increase. Because demand increases, no, we will come to currency value later. Now, in this current scenario, you are the Reserve Bank of India governor. What will you do? What do you want to do? For a moment, you are the Reserve Bank of India governor and you are sitting in front of your in the office and you have these two lines. This is the original point A and this is point B. Now, what should you do? You want to bring back point B to point A. You want to bring back point B to point A. So what will you do? What is the solution for this? What is the solution for this? How can I pull this line back? You have to take income out. You can increase availability. Oh my goodness, you all went to repo, reverse repo, money supply. Okay, I am not yet there. Okay, I am still with a student who doesn't know what is repo and reverse repo. Yes, bring back money from the people. So, basically, in any economy, when there is inflation, now you know why inflation happens. Whenever there is inflation, no, demonetization is not the solution. Whenever there is inflation, you take money out of people. You take money out of people, you take money out of system. So there are various ways to take money out of people from people's hands. You can take money in various ways. Number 1, increase the tax. Number 2, offer more savings rate. Offer more savings rates. Both can be done. So this kind of activity, this is called as contraction of economy. I am not going to monetary policy. I'm still at very basics. I know most of you know about reverse repo, you all are aware of monetary policy, but I am not going to monetary policy. So when in any economy, ఇవ్వకూడదు తారక్ ఈ పాయింట్లో ఇవ్వకూడదు. In any economy, if people have more money to spend, it will lead to increase in demand, then it will lead to increase in prices. This is called as inflation. Whenever there is inflation, we have to bring back demand, so we have to reduce money in people's hands, so we can increase the taxes, we can increase the rate of interest, we can offer more interest on savings. Somehow we squeeze money out of the system, and this is called as contracting the system. Is this clear till here? Is this clear till here? So rise in income will lead to increase in demand, result in increase in prices. This is called as inflation or demand pull inflation. So to counter this, you have to remove money from people. Right? So this is about the basics of demand curve. Now, based on how demand curve moves, for example, there are scenarios where, as I was telling you, just a second, I'll give you one example. I'll draw two lines and I will tell you to decide. Okay, this is one demand curve. This is one demand curve, and this is another demand curve. This is another demand curve. This is also a demand curve. Now, let us call this as option A. This is option B. I want you to decide which can be a demand curve for, let us say, BMW cars. For a BMW cars, what is the demand curve? BMW limited edition. There is BMW limited edition car. What will be the demand curve? Option A and option B. What? B. Agreed. Right. So based on how demand varies with respect to price, and if price changes or income level changes, how demand varies, this is used to categorize goods into different stages or different categories. Right? Just a second. Yeah. So there are certain goods, normal goods, if your income increases, your demand will increase. But there are certain goods whose demand will decrease if your income increases. These kind of goods are called as inferior goods. The goods where if your income increases, your demand will fall down, they are called as inferior goods. Whereas if your income increases, your demand will increase, those goods are called as luxury goods. Is it clear? Inferior goods and luxury goods. Yes, luxury goods and inferior goods. Now we will see the same thing on lines or examples. First good, before I use a word, I'll go with examples. First example that I'm using is Pepsi and Coca-Cola. This is the demand curve for Pepsi. This is the demand curve for Pepsi. Right? Now in the market, Coke was sold for 20 rupees. Now Coke became 40 rupees. What happens to Pepsi demand curve? Violet or orange? I will teach you, don't worry. I will talk about Giffen goods. I am about to talk about all the types of goods. I am talking about all types of goods. I am on the demand on this curve itself. Please tell me. Coke price has increased. What happens to Pepsi? Yes. So, if Coke price increases or Coke price increases, demand for Pepsi is increasing. These kind of goods are called as substitute goods. These kind of goods are called as substitute goods. Next example. So substitute goods are those goods where if price of one good increases, demand for the other good increase. So if the price of Coke increases, demand for Pepsi will increase. At the same price, demand will increase. Next. These are substitute goods. Next example that I want to take is, let's say you are a very avid reader and you use Kindle, and this is e-book demand curve. Kindle earlier was at 2000 rupees. Now Kindle became 5000 rupees. What about e-books demand? Orange or violet? Orange or violet? Huh? Please think properly. How is it orange? How is it orange? If the Kindle price is increasing, will you buy Kindle and will you buy ebook, or you will not buy Kindle? How can it increase here? Nahi. See, if Ella, how? Kindle is a device, okay? It's basically, it is like a tab in which you can read books. Okay, my bad. Example is wrong. Okay, I'll change the example. I'm sorry, I will change the example. I understood why you did not answer properly. Now, I am taking an example of car and petrol. This is petrol demand curve. Okay, this is petrol demand curve. Now, on cars, government increased taxation by 50%. What happens to the petrol demand curve? Orange or violet? Yeah, I understood that my example is wrong. I used wrong words. So please tell me what happens to the demand curve of petrol? Violet or orange? In colors. Violet, right? So when there are two goods, price of one good increased, then demand of the other good decreased. These kind of goods are called as complementary goods. These kind of goods are called as complementary goods. So we spoke about two types of goods till now. First type of good that we spoke are substitute goods. Substitute goods, if the price of one product is increasing, demand for the other product will, if the price of one product is increasing, demand for the other product will increase. So they are called as substitute goods. See, it's just one isolated example, okay? There are bikes, obviously, in it, no economy functions only with the car and petrol. And if the example that I took is right, by now nobody should be buying cars. So no matter what petrol prices increases, there will not be any change with respect to the consumption. That's just one example to understand. So the goods where the price of one good is increasing, demand of the other good decreases, such goods are called as complementary goods. So for example, iPhone and charger. If iPhone prices are increasing, earlier this is 60,000, now if they are selling for 2 lakh rupees, the demand for charger will reduce. If the petrol price earlier is 100, now it is at 600 rupees, then obviously cars demand will decrease, right? So these are substitute goods and complementary goods. Do you have any questions still here, or are you on the track? It's been 2 hours we started. Do you have any questions? We will do one thing. Please take a short break of 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes. Take a short break, relax and refresh. We are done with half of microeconomics, more than half. No break. No questions or no break. Take a break for 5 minutes. Drink a sip of water and come back. We will continue. We will complete microeconomics and then we will break for lunch. We have to talk about types of goods, then we will talk about various demand and supply, elasticity. We will talk about all these things. Then we will break for lunch. Right. So please take 5 minutes break and we will meet again. So the one with the economics background, I think it's Bhavna. Can you please tell me the feedback of how it is going on? I'm not from economics background. I'm from I'm not sure here. ఇంకా తెలీదు చెర్రి ఎప్పుడు ఉంటుంది అనేది. I'm a computer science engineer and I'm not from economics background. So please tell me. See, కాంప్లిమెంటరీ గూడ్స్ అంటే రెండు గూడ్స్ ఒకదానికొకటి కలిసి పనిచేస్తాయి. ఇప్పుడు ఫోన్స్ చార్జర్స్ ఉన్నాయి. ఐఫోన్ చార్జర్ ఉంది. ఐఫోన్ రేట్ ₹1,00,000 నుంచి 5,00,000కి వెళ్ళిపోయింది అనుకోండి. అప్పుడు చార్జర్లు ఎవరైనా కొంటారా? కొనరు కదా. పెట్రోల్ రేట్ ₹100 ₹1,000కి వెళ్ళింది అనుకోండి, ఎవరైనా కార్ కొంటారా? కొనరు కదా. సో అలాంటి గూడ్స్ని కాంప్లిమెంటరీ గూడ్స్ అంటారు. ఒక దాని ప్రైస్ ఫుల్ పెరిగిపోతే దెన్ సెకండ్ దానికో డిమాండ్ పడిపోద్ది. దే ఆర్ కాల్డ్ as కాంప్లిమెంటరీ గూడ్స్. ఆల్ దీస్ గూడ్స్ ఆర్ డిసైడెడ్ బేస్డ్ ఆన్ డిమాండ్ ఇట్ సెల్ఫ్. సో యా. Thank you so much. Hi. Hello. TV and remote are complementary goods. Yes. And Sagar explained inferior goods very well, right? Hi, Akshay. So, any other questions before we start? We'll start. We are ready to start. We are good to go. Are there any other questions? Hello. Am I audible? Mic check. Hello. 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 Yeah. Right. So, we are talking about types of goods. We saw what are normal goods and what are inferior goods. Inferior goods are nothing but Puma and Pama. Puma is a normal good, whereas Pama is inferior good. So, or for example, Crocs and second copy. I mean, when I don't have money, I will not buy Crocs, but I will go to DMart and I'll buy copy Crocs. But someday when I have good money, obviously I will go and buy Crocs. So, Crocs and cracks, these are all inferior goods. Then there are substitute goods. Substitute goods are nothing but there are X and Y. These are two goods. You can use X in the place of Y. So if Y price is increasing, you can stop using Y and you can come to X. So they are called as substitute goods. Whereas complementary goods are X and Y have to go together. So if price of X increases, Y demand will come down. So this is about the types of goods. Now there are other types of goods based on how demand varies. For example, in a luxury good, demand varies very heavily with a slight change in the price. Let's say, for example, this is the demand curve for iPhone. This is a demand curve for iPhone. Now, out of nowhere, there is Amazon sale. There is Amazon sale. Okay, earlier for 500 rupees the phones, or 500 or 5 lakh, whatever it is here. Demand was, let us say, at 10. Now there is a slight drop in price. There is a slight drop in price. 500 nunchi the price came till 400, but the demand changes very heavily. When the price decreases, the demand changes very heavily and the curve goes like this. So with this is a 500, but 400, there is heavy change in the demand. So if demand increases very heavily with a slight change in price, they are called as luxury goods. Do you agree? Let us say there is Audi car, or let's say there is an iPhone. Earlier, this is the original iPhone based demand curve, but there is an Amazon sale which said there is 20% discount on iPhone. This is now or never. So out of nowhere, the curve goes like this. The curve becomes like this. So that at this point, instead of this much demand, this is the original demand, with the slight reduction of price, demand will increase very heavily. These kind of goods are called as luxury goods. So we studied about we studied about inferior goods. We studied about just a moment. We studied about inferior goods. We studied about substitute goods. We studied about complementary goods and luxury goods. In normal terminologies, when you have more money, you will not buy them. So as income increases, demand decreases, they are called as inferior goods. Substitute goods, you can use one good instead of other. So if price of one good increases, the demand for the other good will increase. They are called as substitute goods. Complementary goods, you have to use both the goods together. So if price of one good will increase, then obviously the demand for other good will decrease. They are called as complementary goods. Example, for example, it is tea and sugar. In real world, there are no ideal complementary goods. TV and remote, okay, these are all, or let's say pizza and sauce, these are all complementary goods. Pepsi and Coke, Ola, Uber, right? All these are, for example, Zepto, Blinkit. These are all substitute goods. Whereas Cracks, Pama, Nike, all these are inferior goods. Lastly, luxurious goods. With respect to luxurious goods, what I said is, because of a slight reduction in price, demand increases very heavily. Such goods are called as luxury goods, right? So this is about luxury goods. Now we have two more types of goods which have a reverse demand curve. Those two types of goods are called as Veblen goods and Giffen goods. There are two goods where their demand will increase as the price increases. Ideally, this is the scenario, but there are two goods where their demand will increase if price increases. Such goods are called as Veblen goods and Giffen goods. These goods are called as Veblen goods and Giffen goods. So for example, let's say there is a limited edition Lamborghini, or Gucci limited edition Lamborghini, right? For all these things, as the price increases, the demand will increase. As the price increases, the demand will increase. So they are called as Veblen goods. Whereas Giffen goods are a category of inferior goods. All Giffen goods are not inferior goods. Okay, all Giffen goods are inferior goods, but all inferior goods are not Giffen goods. And Giffen goods are a small category within inferior goods, and these are very, very rare. To be really honest, there is no correct example for Giffen good. In textbooks they do give n number of examples, but there is no correct example. What Giffen goods are even if the price increases, the quantity demanded will increase. They will give a very stupid example for this. The one most common stupid example that is given in various kinds of books is that bajra versus wheat. What they say is that even if the price of bajra increases or price of meat vegetables increases, the demand of bajra will keep on increasing. But till today, I was never able to comprehend how Giffen goods operate, and I did not come across even a single good that is a real Giffen good. So Giffen goods are those goods whose quantity demanded will increase even if price increases, and they are inferior in nature. This is about the types of goods. Did you understand the types of goods? Did you understand the types of goods topic? Now in your rough books, I want you to do some work. Take your rough books and draw the demand curve for mobiles. Draw the general demand curve for mobile phones. Draw a demand curve for mobile phones. Draw a demand curve for mobile phones. Done. Next, you have mobile phones and telephones. This is the mobile phone based demand curve, and you have landline telephones. The bill or the cost of mobile recharge has increased, or let us say, sorry, ఒక చిన్న చేంజ్ చేద్దాం, minor change. We have mobile phones and we have landlines. This is your landline demand curve. This is your landline demand curve. Now, if the recharge cost of mobile increases, if the recharge cost of mobile increases, where does this line move? Draw in your book, move the line. Draw in your book and move the line. Recharge of mobile has increased. What happens to this line? Does it go to place 1 or place 2? Yeah, Giffen and Veblen are same. They sound same, but they're quite opposite with each other. We can't ensure because Veblen are luxurious products, Giffen are inferior products. 1 and 2, what happens? 1, very good, nice. So what are these types of goods called as? Mobile and landline. What are these goods? Please tell me, what are these goods? Substitute, very good, very good, nice. Next example, let us take tea and milk. Okay, this is demand curve for tea. Now milk price decreased. In general, milk price decreased. What happens to the demand curve? 1 or 2? 1 or 2? Right? Very good. 2. So now in the examinations, do you need to mug up anything with respect to type of goods and how demand varies? Do you need to mug up anything? Or will you simply take a small example, draw one line and think if necessary? If necessary, you can visualize a line and think, right? Now, done. So the next concept that we are talking here with respect to demand is elasticity. The next topic that we are talking is elasticity. Before we talk about what is elasticity, tell me, what is the nature of elastic? Tell me, what is the nature of elastic? What is elastic? Extendable, or yeah. So if a plastic or something, if something is fully elastic, what is the meaning of it? You put some force and there is 100% response. Can I say this is fully elastic? Rubber, whatever force I am putting, there is response, it is increasing, it is expanding. Can I call it as a fully elastic material? Can I say, no matter how much force I'm placing, if I'm placing 100% force, it will not expand, it will not change. Can I call this material as inelastic? Can I call this as inelastic? Right? Now, with this background, you try to tell me what is the meaning of price elasticity of demand. You give me the definition. I will not tell you. You give me the definition. What is price elasticity of demand? What is the meaning of price elasticity of demand? If price increases or if price decreases, demand increases. Kalyan, you have gone in a reverse manner. Yes. See, we know that if prices will decrease, demand will increase. If this change is very, very good, if the change is very, very good, then we call it as, then this meaning, the extent of change is called as price. Yes, exactly. By how much is it changing? By how much is it changing? This is called as price elasticity of demand. Now I will give you one example. Before that, I'll introduce two words. Number one, perfectly elastic. Number two, inelastic. There are two words, perfectly elastic and inelastic. Perfectly elastic is where there is a 100% change, and inelastic is where there is zero change. I hope these two words are clear. Perfectly elastic means with the change in the price, the demand will respond equivalently. That is called as perfectly elastic. Inelastic is no matter how much you change the price, demand will not change. Now, I will give you one example. You have to tell me, is this inelastic or elastic? The example that I am giving you is, there is a chemotherapy drug. There is a chemotherapy drug. Is this inelastic or elastic? Is this elastic or inelastic? Very good. It is absolutely inelastic because, see, I'll tell you with an example. The drug cost is, let's say, some of your close friend or close person needed it. The drug is 1000 rupees, you will still demand. The drug is 5 lakhs, you will still want it to use. So, this is more or less inelastic. What about oil? What about oil? What about oil? Is oil elastic? Will reduction of price? Yes, it is. It is elastic. If you are reducing the price of oil, the demand will increase. Yes or no? So, whoever is saying elastic, you want to say that if the price of oil is increasing, the demand of oil will come down. Do you agree? What you are saying is, if the price of oil is increasing, demand for oil will decrease. You are saying this. Is this right? This is not right, right? So, oil is also inelastic. Healthcare, inelastic. Education, inelastic. These are all inelastic. Now I will draw two lines. You help me to identify what is what. Tell me which graph represents an inelastic body. Which graph yes, food is inelastic, very good. So which graph represents inelastic nature, price inelasticity? Yes. So this is a perfectly inelastic body, whereas this is perfectly elastic. Yeah, obviously, any time you are drawing a demand curve, this is demand, this is price, that is fixed. In any demand curve, in any demand supply curve, on y axis demand is always fixed, we don't change it. It is standard and we don't change it. So elasticity in physics is response to the force, whereas in economics, elasticity refers to how it changes. For example, if price is the force, demand is the response, how it will impact, what kind of change in the price will bring what kind of changes in demand, this is called as elasticity. Right? So elasticity is responsiveness. We have price elasticity of demand, the first one that we spoke, as in how demand responds to change in price. We have income elasticity of demand, how demand responds to change in income. Cross elasticity of demand, how demand responds to the change in the prices of other goods. These are the types of elasticities of demand. And elasticity of demand is determined by change in the demand by change in the price. See, always on x axis it is price and on y axis it is quantity. In demand curves, in supply curves, everywhere on x axis you have price and on y axis you have quantity. So this is about price elasticity. If an object is perfectly inelastic, the quantity demanded does not change in whatever the price is. Cancer drugs, stents, education, healthcare, food, oil, all these are examples for perfectly inelastic products. Whereas perfectly elastic products are where slight change in price also impacts the demand. We will again discuss this with an example itself. Let's say you are in an agricultural mandi. Okay, you are in agricultural mandi, you are buying. How many of you know what is a mandi? How many of you are aware of mandis? How many of you are aware of mandi? Not the khana wala mandi. Okay, in Hyderabad we have very good big mandis to eat, not those. How many of you know what are agricultural mandis? APMCs antam kada. Okay, you are not aware of it. Fine, I'll tell you. For a moment, I'll introduce what is an APMC mandi. Anyways, you have to study about it. So APMC mandi is like a market. Okay, this is a big marketplace. Okay, before I go to what is a mandi, how many of you know what is the meaning of MSP? We will talk about it today itself. This is known as minimum selling price. How many of you know what is minimum selling price? It's okay, it's okay. I'll tell you. Don't know? It's okay. I'll tell you. But do you know what is a minimum selling price? If you are from agricultural background, you'll definitely know. Can someone tell me what is an agricultural? What is MSP? Okay, MSP is a minimum price, right? You're all aware of the minimum price. Okay, there are some people who are not aware of MSP. We will talk about it later. I'll take a different example. Let us take there is a vegetable market. Vegetable market. There are 5 vendors. Yeah, there are 5 vendors A, B, C, D, E. Everybody sells tomatoes. 10 rupees per kg, 10 rupees per kg, 10 rupees per kg, 10 rupees per kg, 10 rupees per kg. Now, out of nowhere, A comes and tells that I will sell for 11 rupees. What happens to demand at A? Out of nowhere, in a market, A says that I am selling for 11 rupees instead of 10. What happens to the demand of A? It goes almost to zero. It goes almost to zero. So, can I say agricultural products are perfectly elastic? Slight change in the price also heavily impacts the demand. Very slight change in the price impacts the demand heavily. Now, in economics terms, do you understand why farmers in India are poor? Why in India farmers are poor? To change the scenario, what do you need to do to agriculture? To change the scenario from a perfectly inelastic agriculture to a better form of agriculture, what can you do? What can you do? For let us think for a while. You are the economist of this country. No, not minimum support price. I am talking to you at a policy level. What can you do to change it? Can you increase? Can you start focusing on food processing? Can you start focusing on food processing? Because food processing is not a processed food is not a perfectly elastic food. Yes, you are reducing the middleman. You are ensuring that there is directly from farm to market. You are doing a lot of value addition. So now do you understand the real problem of agriculture and real problem of poverty in India? Poverty of a farmer. Farmer is poor because farmers' products are perfectly elastic. Slight variation in price, their demand will drop down. Nobody will buy whatever is being sold, and they cannot get the right kind of prices. So this is the meaning of perfectly elastic and perfectly inelastic products. So is this going heavy? Please tell me, is this going very heavy? How many of you are like you're good and comfortable? How many of you are feeling that ki hi, what are you teaching in economics? ये तो सर से ऊपर जा रहा है. No, okay, right. Now we will talk about something. For products like agriculture, where where there is perfect elasticity, what can government do to support them? What can government do to support them? See, food, that is exactly the point. You rose a very good question. Food is inelastic because it is a processed food. Agricultural products are perfectly elastic because there is plenty of supply. There is so much of producers, there is so much of produce, and the agricultural produce has very small shelf life. The product is perishable. So if you increase the price, your demand will drop down. Nobody will buy from you, so you cannot change the price at all. That is a problem with agricultural produce. Whereas if you are converting the agricultural produce into food, then there is demand for food. Farmer is producing agricultural produce. Company is converting it into a food. So companies are getting benefited. Farmers are still remaining poor. Though India is a very agricultural rich country, the reason why farmers are remaining poor is because farmer is producing a perfectly perfectly elastic product. Whereas once you do a value addition on this and becomes food, then it becomes a perfectly inelastic product. So companies are gaining all the benefit, whereas the farmer is remaining poor. No, it is not about having less agriculture. There should be more agriculture. Agricultural produce should be processed. There should be facilities for cold storage. Food processing has to be there. Value addition has to be done to the raw material, so that the finished product can improvise. In that manner, farmer can get benefited. See, if the farmer is yes, storage facilities, right. Let us take, for example, let us talk about this for a minute. As I told you, there is 10 rupees, 10 rupees, 10 rupees. Everybody is selling for 10 rupees. Now, one farmer wanted to sell it for 15 rupees. That day, his demand became zero. So he went home without any money. Instead of this scenario, imagine the farmer has a cold storage. The farmer has a cold storage. If he has a cold storage, the day when he felt that I am not going to sell for 10 rupees, I want to wait for 15 rupees. He can go to a cold storage, he can store his food, he can store his tomatoes, right? Then When there is demand for tomatoes, when there is no production, he can bring them and sell it. So storage facilities are necessary. Production efficiency is necessary. Now you understand the rationale behind the scheme such as per drop more crop, Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana, Param Pragat Krishi Vikas Yojana, Krishi Sinchai Yojana, right? So that is a problem with agriculture, and this is a solution for agriculture. So now if you see, government of India is promoting lot of cold chain storage facilities. They are trying to produce cluster based cold storage, so that whoever farmer is there, they can use all these facilities. So that's the story behind all of it. Now there is one argument in the entire so-called intellectual circles where people question that government of India has introduced GST and there are multiple slabs on GST. There was one very famous meme that went viral where if there is a salted popcorn, the GST on salted popcorn is 5%, whereas the GST on a confectionery or sugar based popcorn, the GST is 18%. So there is a lot of discussion on this, right? There were a lot of viral discussions and memes that were going on where this country is being criticized for introducing slab based GSTs. This country was introducing slab based GSTs. Now, using the concept of elasticity and inelasticity, we will understand, do we really need slabs? Okay, just for example, you take a good that is perfectly elastic. You take a good such as agricultural produce which is perfectly elastic. On a perfectly elastic product, for example, let us say a rice bag. On a rice bag, let us take, for example, I am applying 5% GST. Okay, on a baggage of rice, I am applying 5% GST. And in a scenario, I am applying 28% GST. Will this GST impact the demand of a perfectly elastic good? Will the GST impact perfectly elastic good very heavily or not? Rice bag or any other example for that matter. On a perfectly elastic good, if you are applying heavy GST, it will impact demand a lot. Yes, whereas on a perfectly inelastic goods, can I apply simply 5% GST? Can I apply 5% GST itself? Or can I go for 18% GST? On a perfectly inelastic good, even if the rate increases, demand will not decrease. So I can definitely increase the taxation. So now, do you agree, in a country like India or anywhere, we need multiple slabs of GST? We need multiple slabs of GST on goods that are perfectly elastic, for example, such as milk, for example, such as vegetables, right? Or any other basic products. We need to go with the 5% GST slabs. On goods that are luxury or sin goods, for example, cigarettes. On cigarettes, do you agree that cigarette is a perfectly inelastic good, right? Cigarette is a perfectly inelastic good. No matter what the price is, the demand will not change. Demand might increase, but it will not decrease. So on these goods, you need 18% tax, you need 28% tax. So this is the rationale behind why we need slabs in GST. Taxation on elastic commodities, if you put any kind of tax, the price will increase. Small change in price will lead to heavy reduction in demand. It will lead to loss of tax revenue. So on elastic goods, you need to go with very low GST. Whereas if there are any inelastic goods, for example, cigarettes, no matter how much you increase tax, there will be an increase in price. demand will not decrease, so tax revenue of a country keeps on increasing. So on elastic goods you cannot go with high taxes, on inelastic goods you can go with very high taxation. Is this clear? What is a elastic good, what is inelastic good? Yes. So the last topic and last simple topic that we are going to talk about is law of supply. We will pause about law of supply. We will pause at law of supply. I will talk about law of supply, and then I will talk about why we have surplus production, why we have shortages, and we will conclude it law of demand and supply together. Right? I'll talk about supply, how supply changes, and then finally we will combine both the graphs, supply demand graph, and I will talk about two concepts of price ceiling, price flooring, and we will complete the microeconomics. So I hope you are enjoying this class, right? Instead of a very basic explanation or a bland explanation of graphs, we are applying the graphs on real time scenarios and we are understanding what is what. So I hope you are really liking this kind of discussions. Now obviously with respect to supply, if price increases, if price increases, if price of a product increases, what happens to supply? Here don't bring demand, we are done with demand, we are talking about supply. If the price increases, what happens to the supply? Increases. So price is directly proportional to supply. Price is directly proportional to supply. This is called as law of supply. Now I will draw two lines. I want you to pick up the right one. This is option 1. Again, this is supply and this is price. Always on the y axis you have price. Then this is one more line. This is price, this is supply. Which one do you think suits for supply graph? Which line do you think suits for supply graph? 2. Okay. Finally, people start talking 1. Rice. See, in the entire economics, what is an economic good? Please tell me what is an economic good? Any good that has scarcity? Any good that has scarcity is an economic good. So, when there is scarcity, there is no concept of free good, there is no concept of zero price. So, any time supply graph will never start at 0. This is wrong. This is not the right kind of supply graph because no economic good is free. We will never start this at 0. Understood? So, this is the supply graph. Supply graph never starts at 0. Price is never 0. So, this is your supply graph and this is the basic price. This price is never ever 0. Rest the price, and this is the, on this y axis you have price and on x axis you have supply. Now what are various factors that are affecting supply according to you? According to you, what are various factors affecting the supply? Please tell me what are various factors affecting supply? Transportation cost, very good. Price, no, apart from price, price is okay. We are taking price on this line. Transportation cost, okay. Supply chain, very good. Supply chains and logistics, very, very good. Nice. Cost of production, cost of production, Yes, it comes under labor cost only. Labor cost, cost of material production, raw material. Next is, can we say government, government initiatives, subsidies and taxes. Technology, very good. Path breaking technology. If there is a technological upgrade, you have market, right? So let's say first we will discuss again, we will draw the lines one by one. This is my supply line. Now, first is cost of production. Cost of production has decreased. What is my supply line? Orange or violet? Cost of production has decreased. No, orange, nice. So if cost of production has decreased, supply will increase, orange line. Now, for example, let us say there is a scenario where there are government subsidies. There are government subsidies. There are PLI schemes, production linked incentivization schemes. Okay, if you are not aware of what are production linked incentivization schemes, they are the schemes which give tax benefit to companies. Let us say, for example, I am manufacturing iPhones. Now, government of India will come up with a scheme called as PLI scheme. What government says is, if you are manufacturing iPhones above 100 in a year, let us say you are manufacturing 1000, 2000, 5000, you are manufacturing these iPhones and above 100 you are exporting to other countries. In such cases, based on the number of exports that you are doing, I will give you tax credit. Those kind of schemes are called as production linked incentivization. If you are increasing the production, I will increase the incentives. You are increasing the production by 50%, I will give you 50% discount in electricity bill. You have doubled the production, I will contribute 50% to all your employees of EPFO fund. So all these are called as production linked incentivization schemes. So under some PLI schemes, government gave some subsidy. Now, what happens to the production curve? Violet line or green line? There are government subsidies. What happens to the, hey Chesinate, a long time, it's been really long, I saw you here. Nice, violet line. So if there are government subsidies, if there are government subsidies, production will increase. If there are taxes, production will decrease. If cost of production increases, supply will decrease. So now you understand the rationale behind various schemes, such as for example, you have fame scheme. You have fame scheme, which is like automobile electric vehicles related schemes. You have various PLI schemes. All these are because if you increase subsidy, you can increase the production value, you can increase the supply. So this is the rationale behind even syntax also. For example, on any given point of time, if this is a supply curve, if you are putting taxes, supply will decrease. If you are giving subsidies, supply will increase. So to boost an economy, government has to give subsidies on manufacturing, and it has to impose the taxes on luxury goods and sin goods. This is one way of redistribution of income. Government has various ways of redistribution of wealth. Which article number of DPSP says about prevention of concentration of wealth? Which article number talks about prevention of concentration of wealth? (39). Very good. Article 39B, 39C. Equal redistribution of wealth. 39C. Very good. Nice. So there are various factors affecting supply. We spoke of it. Then we spoke of the elasticity of supply. Any product is perfectly elastic if it responds to the supply shocks. It is inelastic if it does not respond to the supply shocks. Now we will talk about the equilibrium price. In any market, supply and demand will always act together. This is supply and this is demand. This is supply, this is demand. The price at which they are acting together, the point where they are intersecting, this is your equilibrium point. This is a point where market always operates. At this point, supply is enough, demand is also there, all the production is 100% utilized. This is the equilibrium point where there is optimum utilization or there is 100% utilization. This is called as equilibrium price. So supply curve and demand curve meet at a point, and the point at this point, supply in the market is always equal to demand. This is called as demand and supply curve, right? Now, in a scenario, this is one scenario. Example number 1. In this scenario, this is supply curve and this is demand curve, right? This supply curve and demand curve. Now out of nowhere what happens is there is an increase in the supply of a market. You termed agricultural products as a perfectly elastic, but people still need to buy onions and tomatoes even when the price soar. See, it's not agricultural produce is not just about one single commodity such as onion or tomato. It's like on the whole. Okay. Now in this scenario, what I'm asking you is supply increased. Okay. Supply increased. So supply line went here. Supply line went here. What happens to the demand? What happens to the demand? If supply is increased, will demand change? Are you with me? Supply and demand curve. Are you with me with respect to supply and demand curve? Till this graph, did you understand supply and demand curve? How many of you did not understand supply and demand curve? Yes? Okay, supply and demand curve is clear. If supply and demand curve is clear, now for a moment, let us assume in an organization or for that matter anywhere, supply has increased. Supply has increased. What happens to demand? This is your equilibrium point, and in the same economy, supply has increased a lot. Supply has increased a lot. Then you will have a lot of surplus. You will have a lot of surplus in the economy. So, in short, let us take in our economy, there is agricultural produce. There is agricultural produce. In the form of subsidies, government is giving MSP. Now I'll tell you what MSP is. MSP is a price which is called as minimum selling price. So at this price, this is the minimum price. For example, let us say government announces that for 1 quintal of rice, 1500 rupees is the MSP. No matter where, anywhere in the country, this is the minimum price that you will get. Okay, we will start. Just give me a moment. I understood that some of you confused. I'll slightly summarize. Don't get confused. I realize that I can sense some kind of vibe here. It's very simple. This is supply curve. This is supply. and this is demand. We know this. Till now we know this. I'll explain, no worry. This point is equilibrium. This is equilibrium. This is price equilibrium. At equilibrium point in a market, supply is always equal to, in any market, at equilibrium point, supply is always equal to demand. Okay. Now I want you to think of one example. The example that I am talking about is, this is supply curve. This is demand. Now, earlier, this is the supply point. Now, what I'm saying is, in this economy, earlier this is a supply point. Supply of this has increased till here. In this economy, supply increased. Supply increased. Okay. If supply increases, this is the supply. Okay. What is the corresponding demand point? Demand will be here. Supply has increased and this is the demand, whereas this is a supply. Here you have, this is our supply, this is our demand, all this is extra, which is also called as surplus. Understood? See, as price increases, definitely supply will increase, because any company wants to produce more. Price is increasing, so any country wants to produce more. So as price increases, supply increases. So this is called as surplus, right? So what I am telling is, now in any economy, whenever you are increasing the production, there is a lot of surplus that is there, and because of this heavy surplus and a lack of demand, the price will tend to fall down very heavily. If this is not supposed to happen, government or somebody should buy every extra material, and it should match the things again back. This is the whole logic behind MSPs and APMCs. Government says that you produce lot of food, I will give you subsidy. I am giving you subsidy on fertilizers, I am giving you subsidy on everything. You produce a lot of food. Now, because of heavy production, there will be a lot of surplus. Now government is introducing APMCs or mandis, and government say, I am buying all of this. So this is how the whole system works. The basic concepts of law of supply and demand relates to how we operate in our real lives. So this is about supply and demand, and there are two more concepts of prices. I will talk about it, but please tell me, is it clear till here? Is it clear till here? Yes. So if this is clear, yes, FCI is supposed to have a lot of role in this. FCI is supposed to have a lot of role in this. In macro, I'll talk about it. I'll talk about agriculture and mandis definitely, then I'll talk about FCI. Now there are last two concepts that I want to teach you. One is price ceiling, the other is price floor. One is price ceiling. Ceiling is on the top. So price ceiling is a price where government says you should not sell beyond this. This is a top cap. This is a cap. Ceiling is the cap. Whereas a floor is the base price. You should sell above this price, that is called as a floor price, whereas the cap is called as price ceiling. So when there is a price ceiling, government, see, this is your supply curve and demand curve. Whenever there is price ceiling, what happens is, I'll draw on the line. I'll tell you why or what happens when there is a price ceiling. This is the supply, this is the demand, and array. This is equilibrium price. Now government said that I'm introducing a price ceiling, which means let's say this is 500. I'm introducing a price ceiling of 200 rupees. You should not sell beyond 200. So what happens to the supply? Supply will, this is your supply will be less than demand. At this point, ideally, this is your demand, but only this is your supply. So this leads to shortages or deficit. So in any economy, if you are putting price ceiling will lead to shortages. Price ceiling will lead to shortages. Whereas if I am placing a price floor is, for example, if this is the equilibrium price, government says that you should sell at this price. This is a minimum price at which you are selling. So at this price, supply will be more, but at this same price, demanded quantity will be less, right? So this will lead to lot of surplus. So if government is introducing the cap, it will lead to lot of shortage. If the government is deciding the floor prices, it will lead to lot of surplus. See, price ceiling is never above the equilibrium price. I will explain once again. I am talking about two words. I am talking about price, seal, or cap. When do you put a cap on the price? It is only when the prices are shooting very high. If the market is operating normally, you will never put a cap on the price, right? You will never ever put a cap on the price if the market is operating normally. So because the market is not operating very well, you will put a cap on the price. So you have price cap and you have base price. In one scenario, what I'm saying is that you are putting a base price, or you are saying that you should not sell beyond this point. This is market equilibrium price. This is market equilibrium price, but people are not able to buy here. So government said, I am putting a ceiling. You should not sell beyond this. If government puts a ceiling like this at this price, this is the supply. Whereas at this price, you have more demand. So this leads to shortage. Whereas if the government says you sell minimum at this, you sell at 1000 rupees. If this is equilibrium, then you will have more supply in the market, which leads to surplus. So this is about the basics of microeconomics. In today's class, the core points that you need to understand with respect to your exams point of view specifically is number 1, Adam Smith. Second, you need to understand types of economies. You have mixed economies and you have planned economies. Then you also have completely command economies. Then you have to understand what is demand. In demand, you have to understand various types of goods. Then you have to understand the price elasticity of demand. Then you will understand what is price inelasticity. Then you will understand what is supply. Then we drew what is a supply curve. Finally, we merge the supply curve and demand curve. In pure SSC exam point of view, if you understood this much, this is enough. But to enrich your learning experience, I tried to apply the concept of microeconomics on macroeconomics, and I tried to explain you why government takes some kinds of decisions and the macro or foundational economic rationale behind those decisions. I hope you understood this. If there are any questions, I'm here, or else we will break for today. We will break for today. What I suggest is that you revise this. See, okay, how supply increases as price increases briefly. Let's say price. Price of an iPhone is 60,000 rupees. Okay. Now this price increased to, let's say, 75,000 rupees. For Apple company, this is extra 15,000. This is extra 15,000. So if this company is introducing, if this company is doing, let's say, 1,000 phones, this will become more than 1.5 CR. So as prices increase, as price increase, the company has more profits. When company is getting more profits and as prices are increasing, to ensure or to match this profits, to match this increase in price and to match the demand, the company will definitely increase supply. The company will produce more goods so that they can sell more. So as prices increase, supply will increase. So this is all for today. If there are any questions, please ask or else you can revise. I'll write the rest of the notes and I'll post it. Tomorrow we will do one more class and we will complete the economics part. Microeconomics, I had to go in detail, but in macroeconomics, I will pick up those concepts that are very important for the exam. For example, you have sectors of economy, monetary policy, fiscal policy, and taxation. Then there are some concepts of World Trade Organization that they might ask you. See, as long as we are talking about supply curve, demand is constant. When we are talking about demand curve, supply is constant. When we are talking about supply curve, demand is constant. No, evening there is no class. Efficiency is there. No, let's not have a class in the afternoon because I did not sleep all night. I was writing all these notes. Yeah, I will talk about national income also. In tomorrow's class, we will start with national income. Tomorrow, first topic that we will talk is national income, GDP, real GDP, potential GDP. Then we will talk about inflation, deflation. Then we will talk about what is nominal GDP, how are they calculated, base year, NNP, all these things. This is the first topic tomorrow. I'll talk about what is circular flow of income diagram. Then we will talk national income. That is the first topic tomorrow. After that, we will go to monetary policy. Then we will come to fiscal policy. And at the end, we will have 5-year plans. Yeah. I'll write the notes of all of this and I'll take up the next class. If the notes is completed by tonight, we will do it tomorrow, or else we will do this day after tomorrow. I want to take a class only after I write the notes. In next one class, I will complete economics, but I want to write the notes because there is no use for you. See, I try to write on the screen and you are seeing my handwriting. So if I write something like this and I'll give it to you, it's of no use. You can't read anything. It's absolutely useless. So I will write a notes like this in a clear format so that you can use this for revision. Then I'll take up the class. Census, we will do a separate session here. Census I'll not include in this. Census we will take up the census document and I'll underline the important lines so that you can make a notes out of it. Census it's a very it's a small document itself. We can do it from census. What is the problem about this, Satya? See, GS is difficult for everyone this time, and we are taking up most important topics. I need one more class. We are taking up all the important topics and we are discussing everything. Thank you so much, Nikhila. I am so happy. So we are covering as much as needed. So don't worry about GS at this point of time. And ideally, if we are doing it right this year, GS is not the real game changer for Tier 1. Your maths, English and reasoning are going to be the real game changers because earlier GS is the game changer. People scored 50 in maths, 50 in English and reasoning. But this time nobody is going to do that. Nobody can score it. So GS, don't worry about it. Focus more on math, English and reasoning. Sir, I need one more day for complete economy. After economy, we'll go to geography because geography, there are very less number of questions. Thank you so much. Yeah. Eduquity series next class will be either tomorrow or day after tomorrow based on the notes. GS in this tier 1 will not be a game changer because people are not able to score so good in the other subjects also. Polity again after geography. There are very few concepts of polity that I have to talk. I will take it up and I'll complete that also. Before you go to CGL, we will complete that also. I need one more day for economy. I'll do that once I write the notes. So if I finish writing the notes by tonight, we will have class tomorrow, else we will have it day after tomorrow. See, if you are an absolute beginner, please wait for another 20 to 25 days. Please wait for another 20-25 days. Please wait for CGL exam to be conducted. Let us look at the questions. Based on the new paper pattern, you can change and you can gear up your preparation. Tier 1 CGL can be difficult like a phase examination. I don't know. And there is one video that I have recorded on the most important topics of mathematics. I think it will be posted now after the class. Achha, it's already posted. See, there is one video that we have recorded on most important topics of mathematics and it is posted. You can watch the video and please trust me, this time maths is your real thing rather than GS. In 2026, if you are giving in 2026, please wait for another 15 days. 15-20 days, wait Jayandi, please wait for it, okay? Then we can start talking about 2026 plans. So this is all for today. See you all again either tomorrow or day after tomorrow based on the completion of the notes. Till then, take care, bye-bye. Thank you so much. Papers are very difficult this time, Satya. Papers are lengthy, papers are difficult. Yeah, it is the same. The classes that I'm taking are more than enough. All these perspectives will help you to handle essays, they can help you to handle interviews and everything. Yeah. Bye.